Last week on Gleeboot, Puck and Jake danced around the Paramount lot. Everyone else sang Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And Sam and Brittany got fake married. And that's what we missed on Gleeboot.
Gleeboot.
Fake marriage. Wow, forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So Puck was in last week's episode, and I mean, spoiler alert, it looks like he's gonna be around for a while, so I'm not loving that.
No, we are not.
Yeah, no.
We'll get to that treasure of this storyline.
That was interesting this week.
Welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Allyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we have two of the coolest Filipinas I know. Filmmaker, director, Casey.
Hi.
And entertainment professional and empress of the color pink, Joey.
Hello. That was a great intro. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Welcome.
They requested to do an episode together because I think they weren't sure they'd be able to handle Glee alone.
That's kind of how we got into doing this podcast. Is like, I mean, I would do the podcast, but I have to have Cullen as my moral support. And then we did it. We're like, hey, Allyssa, we need you as moral support. So now we're all hosts of the podcast.
All moral support.
I love that. Honestly, that's what you need when you do this.
Yeah.
We're all each other's backbones.
Yeah.
So, Casey and Joey, what is your relationship with the show Glee? What is your Glee journey?
Well, I wasn't allowed to watch Glee when it first came out.
Really?
Season 1.
Probably for the best.
Why?
Yeah. And then there was like a pregnancy story and I was like, you're too young. I was like, I forget how old, but like young enough that it made sense for her not to let me watch it. Then season 2, she was like, sure, if you want to watch it with me, you can. But like, I didn't care enough because I didn't watch season 1. Never watched it. And then I was asked to do this and I was like, okay, well, there are certain people I don't want to see too much on it. And Cullen picked a great episode that I was like, okay, this is solid enough that I'm good with it. That's been my relationship with it. I will say there are some Glee songs that I like more than the original, but that's like from way old ones, I think. But yeah, I have those on my phone. But that's like
everyone has a few of those.
Yeah.
I have a clarification question. So you said that your mom said that you could watch it with her if you wanted to. Does that mean your mom watched all of season 1 and
she watched
2?
all of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
your mom is a Glee
I think she
fan.
watched all of it. If I'm being
Wait,
honest.
did she watch it? You watched it with her?
I tried watching season 2 with her because I think it was also at the time where you had to pay or like DVR or you had to record it to get season 1. So I didn't have season 1 and I tried watching season 2, but like I didn't care and I stopped asking questions. I also was a competitive dancer and gymnast. So like I also was at practice and rehearsal. So I didn't care to keep up with it. Oh, I know the cast. As someone who likes entertainment and loves TV, I knew the cast and I knew generally what was happening every so often just because like people talked about it enough, but like never, like when we got into this episode, there were a lot of questions I had that I was like, oh, this happened. Like, I mean, that makes sense, but also like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I know the basics. I know who the main cast is, but I feel like when it first came out, I don't know what happened. I watched the first 2 episodes. Actually, I can't remember, but I do remember watching it when it came out, but I can't remember what it was about. And then I don't know why I didn't keep watching. And then I watched after, what's his name died?
Corey Monteith.
Yeah. After he died, that's when I was like, oh, I should watch this show because it was just such a big like news thing. So then I only watched the last season. I feel like half of the later end of the last season, but I wasn't college. So other than that, that's all I know about Glee, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, this is quite the episode to waltz into.
A lot.
I have questions about it.
Yeah, so do we.
Yes, we always have questions.
So what are we drinking today?
Goes first.
Alyssa, you reveal your drink because you hinted at it earlier.
I'm actually very pleased with this. So I wanted to put grapefruit juice in it, but I didn't have any. So I squeezed an orange, so freshly squeezed orange, 2 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of coconut liquor, and just like the rest cranberry juice. It's so good.
Wow.
It's so good.
How refreshing.
Yeah, it is. It's really refreshing and like sweet.
Do we have a name?
Like tart. I didn't make a name for it. How about I call
call it Gleetastic.
Gleetastic.
You made it while shooting Gleeboot.
Girl power. In honor of Sadie Hawkins.
The girl power. I like that.
I like that.
It's good.
Cullen, what about you?
I'm just having a vodka cran in my new mug that I got at the Disney store. It says "Dreaming of Happily Ever After," and it has Philip and Aurora on it. It was on sale. It was clearance, so that's why I own it, because things at the Disney store are expensive.
Yeah, what that mug must have been like originally like $35-$40.
Probably.
And I got it for 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just drinking iced tea. So, well, I should say sweet tea.
Yum.
I mean, I'm recovering from some medical stuff, and I'm drinking water out of a Hydro Flask.
Nice.
With a pink Hydro Flask.
Everything is pink. Oh, you can't. There it is.
I'm drinking tea, ginger tea. I've been coughing for 2 weeks. It's not COVID because I'm fully vaccinated, and I took 2 COVID tests and a flu test. And when I went to the doctor, and everything was negative, so the doctor's like, "You only have a cold." So I've been drinking ginger tea, and even though my cough's like kind of gone now, I'm still drinking it.
Ginger tea is good, and that's a really cute teapot.
That was so
But my mug is cute. I got this at Disneyland. It's all the Disney dogs.
Oh, look at that. 2 Disney mugs.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a couple in my kitchen because my roommates, I'm in Florida, and my roommates used to work at Disney. So and they're big Disney fans. They've got a bunch of them. I could have grabbed one, poured that in there. Could have 3.
Yeah.
I have 3 or 4 of the Disney mugs that have the like from Epcot or Magic Kingdoms or a bunch of those.
Am I the only one who doesn't have a Disney mug? I am.
I mean, I don't have one personally. I do have one in my possession.
I see.
My one roommate, she used to work Disney Cruise Lines a couple years ago, and her Disney Cruise Line mug is slanted like the front of the ship. And so like it's like flat on the bottom, but like it's slanted, so you're kind of like, I don't know, it's funny.
I think I would spill out of that.
I feel like you have to like drink it like you're drinking gravy or something, like out of a gravy boat.
That feels like a lot of work for me. I think that's just more of an aesthetic thing. Like
exactly.
And I'd be like, isn't it cute? And then never touch it.
Exactly.
So did y'all take the BuzzFeed quizzes?
I did.
I did too. I took one of them.
Okay. So what are your quiz results? Which character did you get?
I didn't do that one. I did boyfriend.
I got the which character? Who is this? Quinn Fabre?
Quinn Fabre.
Wasn't in this episode. Fabre. I don't think that's a real name, but maybe it is.
Maybe.
It says you're smart, mature, and glamorous. You're someone who's made some pretty big mistakes and you've learned from them and often lend your guidance to those who need it.
We get a lot of Quins on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot what the
Interesting.
questions were.
Well, I'm doing it right now, but if it makes you feel better, I did the boyfriend one. And I got Kurt, and I'm like, I love
I
that.
Darren, Chris.
Okay, now I
So
don't
do
feel bad because
I.
see, I have the issue. So I'm straight, like unfortunately very straight, and I always fall for guys that are gay. And my mom's always gonna be the person that is like, yeah, he's gay, and I'm like, no, he's not. And then I find out he's gay, and so I'm just like, of course I would get Kurt. Of course.
No.
That would happen. Unless you got Filipino.
Oh, who? Or Darren, Chris.
Darren, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So those were our that's the BuzzFeed quizzes. So now it's just the plots of the episode, right?
Yeah, let's figure out what's happening this week.
We
'Cause
have
I've
the
already
happening.
forgotten. Yeah, what is happening?
we have the
Yep.
Kurt and Rachel in New York stuff. We have the Blaine, Sam, Tina stuff, and we have the Jake, Marley, Puck, Kitty, Ryder stuff. Am I forgetting anything?
That seems about it.
Think so.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Let's talk about New York first because it's pretty segmented. So Kurt says that college is just like high school, which
Yeah.
anyone who's
let's
been
stop
to
right
college,
there.
I was gonna
Let's
say,
stop
can
there
we?
and talk about that because we went to college twice, the three of us, and I'm like, I don't think I experienced
No.
high
grad school was
school
actually
stuff.
a lot like high school, but
Well, that's what I see. I think the only reason why he said that is because it's it's a very small school. So I
Maybe.
feel like it definitely would have been more niched.
See,
yeah.
I went to like a small medium school, and I mean, it wasn't as niche as that, but small medium school. The thing is, when you get to college, even if you're like cool, you're not cool because you just are thrown into a world that no one knows what the heck they're doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So I was a freshman and juniors would be asking for my help. People don't care who you are. They're just like, we're all trying to live through this and graduate. So let's just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even like help each other
totally
out, but
agree.
like no judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I even think that like in college, you're taking classes with a lot of different people who like either used to be jocks or the popular people and like who used to be like the nerds in school. And then everyone's thrown into this room and then you realize, oh no, we're all back on the same level. Everyone kind of has to, figure it out.
You're all
again.
equaled out. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like it didn't make any sense, like the clickiness. But then Cullen mentioning about grad school and like, yeah, like I think because if you're putting like the really small group together, they could probably splinter off kind of like we did, but
Oh yeah. Clickiness.
In grad school?
Yeah.
I also think like I think our program was like we were all pretty dramatic, I think.
Well, we were double the size we were supposed to be, but still a small program. So like people ended up, instead of typically we would have taken all of the same classes together, but we ended up being split into several different classes.
That's true, actually.
So I feel like some of the cliques ended up being formulated because of that.
That's a good point.
Okay, I was gonna ask about that because like they were like this group is the jocks. I was like, how were your cliques formed? Would that make sense?
It honestly, I think now we're getting into like the psychology of the people we knew, but I think like in general, I think that like people just bonded over different things and then they just kind of stuck together. And plus,
that's a really optimistic way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put it on people who watch too much TV have distorted views of women or too much movies. And
Okay, go.
have a lot of
Yeah.
resentment towards women in their lives. And I called a certain clique Team Mask for Mask, which is a gay dating term, because it's like, I'm a mask guy, I'm looking for other mask guys. And that's kind of how they were.
Uh-huh.
But they weren't that mask. I hate to tell them that.
That's the
Yeah.
interesting part. Yeah, so I think our group was just unique in that way, but also like I think the college experience in general, also like I think in grad school, like I think you just kind of, you're gonna try to act more mature because it's a whole new setting. You have to like figure out where you stand again. So I kind of empathize with what Kurt's going through, but then him being like, it's just like high school. I'm like, no, if you have that view, there's something wrong with you.
I was gonna say, I think it's him problem. That's
he says the stage combat majors are the jocks. And I'm like, no one majors in stage combat. That's just like a class at most.
You never know. They could be super niche.
I was also like confused when they said show choirs at the bottom, because isn't like the movie like Pitch Perfect, show choirs like the coolest thing on college campus?
Yeah.
I was confused by how the hierarchy of this random fantasy school worked, because it's not a real school.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I guess okay.
Also,
Strange.
I was just like, Lea Michele's character said that, and I was just like, so you're the one who really cares about a hierarchy in general? Like, that sounds like a you problem again.
No, honestly, like when she said do anything except for show choir, I was like, piss off. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, live your best life, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Kurt's looking at clubs because he's like, I'm going to join an extracurricular, and he's interested in the Adam's Apples, which are the show choir.
Adam's Apple.
Not a great name, but there's no like history of good show choir names on this show. So
but we also come to learn that, like, I mean, I heard the name and I'm like, Adam's Apples. I'm like, okay, that's just all like dudes, right? No. And then it turns out it's just really narcissistic.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
because Lea Michele Rachel is just like, Kurt drowning out of social suicide. It's the bottom of the totem pole. We're not in McKinley anymore. Don't do that. And Kurt's like, okay. But then he keeps like longingly looking at the poster.
Hey.
And then Adam, a British guy, is all like,
that's his only descriptor.
It's always the British people, man.
He's all like, you should join the club. You're Kurt Hummel. I know who you are. I started the club. So it's
which also after... like coming from college, I was like, why does this college student who's a senior know about him coming in? That was just a lot too.
Yeah. I immediately was like, that has to be a super small school thing, because that's bananas.
I feel like it because the school is so small and Kurt like auditioned at the winter festival thing, people might know his name.
That's true, I guess, because I mean, I can't imagine how often that actually happens.
Yep.
So
maybe
everyone
he was
probably
there.
Like,
maybe he was at the winter.
He was sitting next to Ellis.
I think he does say something about like, I heard you at the winter festival.
Showcase.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to call it the solstice.
Winter solstice. I think he does say that he heard him or something like that.
Yeah. So he keeps walking by Kurt, and then like Kurt and Rachel are walking down the street, and she's always leaving to do something with Brody where he has to be shirtless, like he's auditioning for Magic Mike on Broadway. And then they're walking down the street, and she's like, oh, do you want to meet me and Brody and go downtown? He's like, no, I don't want to be your haggy third wheel.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're gonna find somebody. And he's like, well, there is somebody. And he like, we saw these clips of Adam kind of flirting with Blaine or Kurt. And Kurt and Rachel's like, yeah, he totally likes you.
But like the flirting was just like
Normal
the one was
things.
really weird where he was like in dance class. It's also made me think, is he taking Cassandra July's dance class? That made me think that. But he's like doing like a move.
A
And this
plie.
guy, yeah, he's
It
doing
was in
plie.
first position. A first position plie.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
I'm just like, he's like, nice plie in his like British accent. And I'm like, is that supposed to be flirting? Like, it feels creepy. This guy also loves lurking. Maybe that's why Kurt's falling head over heels, because Kurt loves to lurk.
Yeah. So eventually he asks, no, first Adam is like, come hear the Adam's apples sing. And so he goes to the auditorium and they sing a stolen arrangement of.
You say this like you're mad that it was stolen. Meanwhile, I'm like, can we steal it and bury it somewhere at the opposite end of the world?
So they performed an arrangement of Baby Got Back that was initially arranged by this musician, Jonathan Coltrane, like an indie musician. Glee took the arrangement, used it for their cover, gave him no credit. And when he called and asked, like he talked to Fox, he kept calling them being like, hey, you stole my arrangement. They're like, you should just be grateful for the exposure.
What a dick move.
If he's not getting credit, there's no exposure.
Right.
Well, all I have to say is I fucking hated that.
Did he sue them?
So
It was a lot.
I hate the arrangement. I hate the song, but I still it is unfair that they took it and didn't give him any credit.
I'm gonna be honest, I like flipped through that. I was like, when does this song end? I couldn't do it.
I literally was like watching, I was like, I can't believe they're making us listen to the whole thing.
I know. I actually so I noticed that Joey Richter, also Star Kid, one of like Darren Chris's favorite or best friends from college, was in this number. And that's all I was focusing on. I was like, if I just find Joey Richter and just hang on to that, I'll be fine. But it lasted way too long. And
I couldn't.
I mean, all I have to say about this whole drama with them stealing it is I bet you the version from this other guy was way better, because this was super uncomfortable. The dancing, the interpretive, like accentuating hips, hand motions, 0 out of 10.
And Kurt sat there in the audience by himself, smiling, happy.
Yeah, he was so excited about it.
I was like, if that was me, I would feel so uncomfortable and be like, I need to go.
Yeah,
but he was there like
horrified.
clapping, and he was like, ha ha ha. I was like, ha ha ha, what? To who?
Yeah, no, it was very uncomfortable. And all I could picture was the show's choreographer, Zach Woodley, who we've met watching the Glee project, him just laughing hysterically, teaching them this dance. Like, that's all I could picture this whole time.
Oh my God.
There was a Little Bo Peep was there.
There was like a cosplayer. There was a couple goths. There were a couple like nerds who wore like tweed coats, very strange. Everybody was there. So I actually thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, they let goths into this school? That's interesting. Because I just kind of figured it was just gonna be a bunch of like pretty people. But
maybe that's because show choir, according to Rachel, is at the bottom of the hierarchy.
Yeah, really.
I feel like they were trying to take what you think are the quote unquote losers in high school and then put them in this group that are now quote unquote losers in college.
Yeah, doesn't BYU have a show choir, and it's like everyone on campus knows about them and thinks they're really cool because they're very like celebrated. Like, there's a lot of colleges that are like that, where like show choir is actually kind of a big thing.
Oh yeah, I think you left when I like mentioned how like I think it was weird that show choir is in the end of their hierarchy when like Pitch Perfect, it's like the coolest thing in every college.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know. Maybe just that group is really bad. Maybe there's like a secret show choir group that's actually really good because they don't do weird covers of Baby Got Back.
Wait, okay. I should have looked this up. But is their college supposed to be just like an arts college?
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
theater art.
So also,
Dramatic art?
also, if you're all in an arts college in general, like why is there even a hierarchy when y'all all knew that like in high school? And I'm sure musicals weren't like thing or like whatever. So you all already felt weird, and now you're making a whole hierarchy. Nah.
Yeah,
So
now
sorry.
they get to relive those years and be like, yeah, now I'm in power because I'm in the vocals program. I'm a vocal major.
That's
get-
so weird. If I went to a school like that, I'd be celebrating everybody because everyone has like,
Right.
really awesome talent.
Yeah, and also it's like as much money as those people pay to go there, like why do a hierarchy? That's not necessary.
Yes. Also, I was gonna say at the like Rachel's the one who's bringing up this hierarchy, but like I feel like she should be at the bottom of the hierarchy when her main role in college right now is to fawn over a boy who barely pays attention to her. So I feel like that should be at the bottom of the hierarchy.
Yeah. Honestly, the only reason she's at the top because she won that winter showcase thing. And I'm like, again, she's just getting things handed to her because if she hadn't gotten into that or she had lost, they would have been like, ha, you still suck. And then she would have still been at the bottom because she's a
Yeah.
freshman.
Rachel and Kurt the same grade level or?
Kurt's one semester behind,
Uh-huh.
but they're the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like wondering why Rachel knew so much more than Kurt.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
reason.
She got accepted earlier than Kurt did.
Yeah.
Mm.
He had late
I feel like she would also just be the person to try to get all that information anyways. So
You
whether
would
they
think
came at
that,
the
but
same
there were like
time.
random things that Kurt knew about the school that she didn't. Like
Yeah.
it's not consistent at all.
they're like, okay, who's gonna be our mouthpiece this week? Who's gonna give us all the unnecessary information?
Interesting.
So Kurt asks Adam out, and Adam says yes. And then we suddenly, like towards the end of the episode, Rachel gets a plot line.
One scene.
Yeah.
This is one scene.
And she prepares a meal, and then she's waiting.
Which is turkey burgers, and she's a vegetarian or a vegan, one of the two.
Maybe her burger was vegetarian. His was turkey.
Maybe. But I doubt they remembered that in this episode. They're like, yeah, turkey burgers.
Probably.
Yeah, remember when she was gonna make a duck?
She made a whole
What?
duck, burnt it, and
Is vegan.
is a vegan.
Wait, so her
Because she wanted to
character
impress
is
her
vegan?
boyfriend.
Or is it her character vegan or both her character and herself?
Leah Michelle seems like someone who might be a vegetarian, but I don't know why I said that like that.
Her
Because I am
character
someone who's
definitely
dabbled
is
in
vegan.
veganism.
I have
But
no
yeah,
idea
her
about the
character's
actor.
vegan, but
Oh.
she like it conveniently will come up, and like that one time Finn fed her dinner and it was like meatloaf or something. She's like, oh, this is like the best vegan meatloaf I've ever had. He's like, yeah, vegan. I knew that.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that's when I talked about vegan shits. I remember this.
Yep.
Anyway.
So Brody's 45 minutes late, and she's like, "It's 9:45. You're supposed to be here at 9." And he's like, "The train
Well,
was late."
first, she sets the table right before he gets into the apartment.
No, there's a minute. There's like a scene to show that she's been waiting.
Yeah. It's very, very brief.
I didn't say, did they show a clock or something? I didn't
They
see
showed
a
her,
clock.
it like faded, and then she was like sitting there all like dejected.
Yes. I was like, because I also was like, wait, and I was like, oh, got it. Time has passed. And she's like, you're 45 minutes late. And I'm thinking, okay, one, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
Not
you
clear
Two.
enough for me.
He's like, hey, yeah, like the train was late. And she's like, you should have left earlier. And I'm like,
how could
this
That
is
wouldn't have fixed the train.
No.
I also I also don't understand because like this show was made when cell phones were a thing. Like, could
Right.
she
Yes,
have?
why didn't he call?
Send her a text and be like, hey, the train is late. I'm waiting here. I'm going to be
Or
like,
if she's upset,
40
she could be like, "Where are you?"
yeah.
Yeah, they could have called, texted.
And honestly, all he had to do was like, you know what? Don't wait up. Have dinner, whatever. Or be like, hey, I'm going to be late. Just, keep it in the oven or whatever.
I thought it was,
Or I
Anything.
oh, go ahead, Joey.
I was gonna say, I also thought it was weird that she waited and time passed, right? But then as soon as he walks in, that's when she starts putting things away.
Yeah.
Or did
It's
he,
like
Yeah.
she
throw
wanted to
away
show it.
food?
Yeah, she's
Like,
throwing
throwing
away food in the
Scream. Like,
trash.
what the? Just feed him if you like it.
Yeah. Like she waited all that time. He shows up and she's like, okay, now I can throw it away. Cause she literally sat there. She literally, like, honestly, he was 10 minutes late and she sat there and she's like, okay, once he gets here, that's when I'll throw away the food. Even at 10 minutes, I bet you.
That's so psycho.
She, like, this is just like, I don't know how much credit I want to give Rachel because she's just not very well adjusted. But like, this is both self-sabotage behavior and just like, it's so immature. It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, 45 minutes for New York with the train not coming is not bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
is that like kind of early for New York?
Yeah.
And then she's throwing away, like she dumps a salad in the trash. Yeah.
Yeah, she could have just put it away,
Yeah.
Then
Well, we
like you
already
didn't
know
want it.
that they live in this fantasy apartment that they somehow got cheap, even though it's like 4,000 square foot. Like, I don't. Her throwing away a salad
Was
is
right.
is also in this fantasy land where she doesn't worry about money in New York.
Also at the end when they're like, I won't be late again. And he was like, I'll get an apartment out here. And she's like, no, why don't you move in? I thought to myself, you have a roommate.
I was so mad.
Even before that, I'm like, what do you mean you're just gonna like, don't you have a lease? Like, are you just gonna like fork out 2 months of rent to get out of there and move out to
Your girlfriend?
like the middle of nowhere for New York City? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And then she's like, you should just, move in here. And that's just like, he didn't say, well, what about Kurt or any of this? Like,
But also
no.
when Kurt found out that she asked him to move in, Kurt was like, "Oh, okay, I have a white noise box." I'm like, I would be pissed.
Oh, at the beginning when she
when he
spent
slept
the
over.
night.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that different? Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was before.
Oh,
Kurt
yeah.
does not know yet. He doesn't know that she asked Brody to do that.
Dang.
I also just like, I can't believe that he would just like, oh, I'll get an apartment out here. Or even if he says yes to moving in, like, she just treated him like absolute garbage
Yeah.
for him being 45 minutes late.
Hey,
And
I don't know. I'm kind of on her side. I really am a stickler about punctuality.
yeah, but even then, like even if she did, like, fine, like, I get that she's upset.
There was no
but, like,
communication.
Yeah.
Like, this is just bad communication all around. And like, why would he say yes to that? Because like she flipped out on him, like whether or not like that's due or not. It's just like, you guys are having a tense moment. Why are you suggesting moving in together? And why would you agree to it?
Right. Also,
why move closer?
As someone who again doesn't know Brody, I mean, I didn't even see him till the end. I was like, is this man even cute? Is he real? Like, where
is he real? Rachel made him up. Yeah.
And then because like the first time I saw him when they were walking down with Kurt and he was like way across the street, I'm like, he ain't real. Like, that's a fake man he's running to. And then when he finally shows up, again, I don't know the relationship before this. I was like, is he playing her? Like the way he was kind of saying like his side of things, I was kind of just like, are you like playing her and joking with her and like just saying that to keep her calm and be happy?
Yeah.
Or I feel like there's gonna be issues with that moving forward. I don't know.
Does he go to school with them?
Yes, he's older.
Yes. He's a junior or senior, I
I
think.
think he's a junior.
Also
Yeah.
a junior and senior moving in with your freshman girlfriend. That's that's plausible.
We love that. Also really quick, going back to like when like Brody was across the street and Rachel was like crossing the street backwards. I literally that shot, I literally was like, where's the car? Where's the cat?
I know she's gonna get hit by a car.
It didn't happen.
The signs that don't walk.
Yeah, I noticed that when she got over to Brody, but also like it didn't even look like Brody was happy to see her. He was just
Why
like
it was
there,
like this dude is
and then
just
she just
using
like
her.
threw her hands or her arms around his neck. I don't even think he like hugged her back. I don't remember
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I don't think so either. And I'm legit like this man because all I've heard through the episode was I have to help Brody with this. I have to do this for Brody. I'm
I
like,
thought he was
this
like her
man-
boss or something because I haven't watched the other episodes.
I thought it was just like a sugar daddy. I wasn't sure.
I thought he was like an intern trying to impress.
And I was like, and then at the end, I was just like, this man is just playing with her, so she will keep doing what she's doing for him. Like, again,
That's a
don't know the
fair
relationship.
assumption because the promise "I will never be late again" is
Don't. That's just a
Yeah, that's
Don't
one
make
of the
that
reasons
promise.
why I don't make promises is because you never know when you're gonna break them. So
yeah.
Yep, that's
that's when you're definitely gonna break.
a classic Alissa
Right.
Gleeboot PSA. Don't make
Yeah.
promises.
Don't make promises. They're traps.
That's
Said for
exactly.
the 45th
That's what-
time on this
That's what the
podcast.
writers did, though, you guys. They made him promise something that he couldn't
Uh-huh.
keep, so there would be arguments later. That's exactly why.
Yeah. Just creating that drama.
It's like when
Uh,
Rachel's told Finn, "You promised you'd never break up with me," and then he's like, "I thought you'd never make me feel this way."
Okay, wait. How did they break up? Question mark.
This
Real
was
quick.
the season 2 breakup when she tried to cheat on him with Puck.
Yeah, because there's multiple.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
I
forgot
thought they
about that
got
one.
married at one point.
Oh,
Almost.
I heard that was it at the end when Kurt was like, oh, speaking to the girl who almost got engaged or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They almost got married. Good thing they didn't.
18.
Good thing Quinn got in that car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they
it's
were
okay
really-
because
What?
It was not a good
she texts and drives in every timeline, Cullen. In every alternate universe, she still gets in a car accident because according to the show, she deserves it.
Oh,
Is she no longer on the in the series, Quinn?
She shows up every once in a while.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen her for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
I found out I'm her, you guys. I took the BuzzFeed.
Congratulations. The other thing, so Kurt actually is supposed to have an internship at Vogue.com with Sarah Jessica Parker playing whatever this lady's name is. I can't remember.
Isabel.
Carrie Bradshaw. And so I am curious. I'm like, okay, so now Kurt's going to school full time. Is he going to have time for the internship? Also, he never even talked to Isabel about it yet. So
I
I'm
liked
curious about that.
Isabel. She was cool.
Oh, I do too. I just,
Yeah.
I
I
only
hope
know
she
her
doesn't
as,
like disappear
Carrie
forever
Bradshaw.
now.
I feel like they I was gonna say they have to tie up that loose end, but I guess they don't because they're Glee and they don't.
They
usually
never
do
tie up loose ends. What are you talking about?
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Joey said. I'm glad there wasn't a lot of Rachel scenes because I don't think I could keep watching her.
Yeah. This was rough. This was a rough episode to watch Rachel because she seemed very much like her old self. Whereas like in previous episodes this season, I think like she was trying to figure out who she was. It was kind of interesting because she's like, there's a little bit of old Rachel and then there's like this new Rachel coming up. This was just old Rachel. Didn't care for it.
I know. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I watch you.
Yeah. Still the same girl who sent Sunshine to a crack house.
Yep, Sunshine Corazon.
What?
Yeah, but it wasn't
Yep.
an active crack house. That's Yeah, that happened.
What feels like a lifetime ago.
I know. I'm like staring off into the distance, remembering. Yeah, this is a very different show than it was last season and the season before. It's very different.
Yeah. So speaking of like the events of McKinley High, let's get back to McKinley.
Yeah, let's get out of New York.
So Blaine and Sam are walking down the hall, and Sam is like, "I need to talk to you. Like, I'm convinced that Dalton was like doing all these flips and stuff at national or sectionals because they're using roids." And
God, that montage.
Yeah.
this was an interestingly directed episode.
Yes.
It's really weird.
It's
They
a lot
have,
of
like
weird
shots, weird cuts.
weird overlays.
Oh,
and
is
fades.
episode not really like that?
No.
Really, they're a lot
There
more
was-
straightforward most of the time.
Oh.
There were two scenes that I did not like the direction of it. One was when everyone, like the girls and Kurt, were asking people out. I did not like how that was directed. And then I didn't like the scene in the locker room. That felt really weird too, going from face to face. The way it was also directed, I just didn't like it. I was like, is this how I was like, this is why I don't watch Glee, because I was like, if this is how it's directed every episode, I couldn't do it.
I mean, don't get us wrong. Like, there are definitely episodes that are just like compiled very strangely, and the editing is weird, and like also like with the thing we talked about earlier of like the time passing thing with Rachel, like there are a lot of those like little things you're just like, why did you choose to do it that way? There are better visual ways to do things. So, but this is definitely one of the top weird ones for sure.
Wow, we got a good weird one.
Yeah.
We need to watch the next episode.
Yeah. So Blaine Sam is telling Blaine how he thinks the Warblers cheated. And Blaine's like, that's a big accusation. And then Sam is like, hey, do you have any lip balm? My talking about conspiracy theories makes my lips chapped.
Apparently, he doesn't have time to go to his locker where it's
7,000.
70,000.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we get this sort of sensual looking at Trouty mouth lips and him like putting on the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's Blaine literally kind of just like studying and being transfixed by it. And I was like, uh-oh, crush alert. Yikes.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking though when that happened? My 2021 self is thinking, damn, that would not happen right now during COVID.
Right.
You wouldn't even be able to see his lips.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's on.
That's funny. Yeah, no.
Can't crush on lips when you can't see them.
That's true. There you go. Another Allyssa Gleeboot PSA. Put on your mask so you don't crush on people's lips.
So funny.
Speaking of crushing on Sam, Alyssa and I bought tickets to see Chord Overstreet in concert in Los Angeles.
I'm so excited.
Are you doing the virtual show or in person?
We're going to go in person.
Nice. So you'll be able to see Trouty Mouth like right there.
In person.
Yes.
Who
Yes.
is this?
The guy who plays
The guy
Sam.
who plays Sam.
Oh, he's in a band.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is he in a band?
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh.
And so I just saw on Instagram, because I follow him on Instagram, that they're performing in LA, and I was just like sitting across from Alyssa. I'm like, do you want to go?
Yes.
Yeah, Cullen
obviously.
texted me and he is like, so we might be getting tickets to go see Chord Overstreet in person or in concert. I was like, yeah, do it.
I've met him once. Not really met,
Oh, hi.
but I was working at an event, the Jonas Brothers premiere,
Oh.
and he was there, which I also was like, I didn't know they were homies, but he
Yeah,
went.
he's friends with Joe Jonas, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so he went, and it was so weird because I don't know who this person is, Sophia Carson. She's
Yeah.
from Disney.
Yeah.
But like she went up to him and was like, good seeing you again. I was like, again? Y'all all know each other too? The whole just like watching. I was like, okay. Anyways, please keep walking the red carpet.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I feel
I
like
did not
if
look at
you're
his
a
trouty, his
celebrity,
lips.
you know everybody else. You know the celebrities if you're a celebrity.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or at least if you have the same agent or if you have the same manager, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're always at the same event.
Gotta be like a small community.
Yeah. I wonder if they have cliques.
Oh, for sure.
Inside
for
of
sure.
managers' offices, it's like, oh yeah, no, these two people do not talk to these two people.
Probably.
Yeah.
Knowing just how petty people can be here, oh, definitely.
So then they go into they have a student council meeting.
Which is only Gleeboot members, which is only Glee Club members, which is bananas. Like,
well, there are
I knew
other people in the back.
Yes, but
Yeah,
the
what are
people
they,
who
witnesses? Why are they there?
the only people who are actually on student council are Sam, Blaine, Tina, and Sugar for some reason.
She's
Sugar?
She's
the
the
Treasurer.
Yes, the financial person. She
She's the
probably just
treasurer?
like gives. Yeah, she gives money to the
She is
school.
so
She's in charge
cute.
of money.
She's the financier / treasurer, I
Yeah.
bet. So, okay, well then
I
that
love
answers my
her.
future question about how did they get the funding to pay for this random dance they put together in 3 days? But so Sugar used to be, what did she say? Self-diagnosed Asperger's, and she's not exhibiting any sort of that quote unquote behavior that she exhibited when she was saying that and going by that. So I don't know what's up with her, but Sugar was here today.
I did not hear that line.
That was from when she first showed up.
Oh, okay.
Season
3.
3. I don't know anymore.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I like that actress because there's a show on Disney Plus called Turner and Hooch, and she's in it.
Oh, I didn't know she was in that.
Yeah, and that's all I could think about when I saw her, and I was like, that. I also don't know her character before that, so I was like, girl from Turner and Hooch.
Becca Tobin, who plays Kitty, is in Turner and Hooch, isn't she?
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sugar used to be a hot mess, and now she's just like rarely there. And when she is, it's actually totally fine.
She usually is paying for something.
Yeah, she could slowly be becoming my favorite character.
So Tina is like, it's 142 days till prom. Yeah, so she's like, it's 142 days till prom, and then all the hot guys ask all the hot girls, and then the sort of hot girls, and then the rest of us have to wait for the burners and burnouts and losers and nerds to get up the courage to ask them out for the worst session of heavy petting. And then Sam is like, Tina, you're definitely sort of hot. Like, if we were in a bunker, I'd hit that.
Oh my God.
And
How
I'm
dare
like,
they? She's gorgeous.
yeah, I'm like, Tina isn't even like dorky or alternative anymore.
No, she's
Tina
not.
is hot in a very vanilla sense.
She literally
like a good
dresses
way,
like a 60s go-go girl. It's wonderful. We love her aesthetic.
I don't understand any of the ideas behind this old-fashioned sense of like dances.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, where is this literally only because that there were old white men writing this? Like, they didn't do any research about modern dances in high schools anymore?
Allyssa, remember the writers room, they have never met a teenager.
I can't handle it. I know. It's so insulting. I was upset.
2012 or something, 2013.
Yeah, this was probably 2013. I think this season probably would have been.
Maybe.
This is early 2013, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have been January, February when it started.
People didn't like speak up till like 2019 or something.
Right. Yeah, but I even think that like, I don't remember ever having a Sadie Hawkins dance. And I also don't really ever remember having to have a date for a dance being that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just because I was gonna say maybe it's just because of like my school was really small and we all were kind of friends, but like it was just like if you didn't have a date, you would go with a group of friends who didn't have dates or a group of
Did
people
y'all
who
have
had dates.
proposals?
No, that happened.
Mine did.
That's so weird. Like that was, I think they ended up probably doing stuff like that, but that never happened in my school.
Wait,
and
what?
thank God.
What is it?
Wait,
A
Promposal.
promposal.
Alyssa had a promposal once.
Oh, I did.
I love this
Was
story.
it a good one?
No.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna tell the story.
Wait, why
Yes.
are you gonna tell it?
Because
What
Alyssa's
story?
told it multiple times
Okay,
on the
fine.
podcast. So I think it's funnier if I remember it. All right. So he circled on, it was like you had to grade each other's papers.
Yeah.
And he circled random, like not random, but what seemed like random letters to spell out prom. And Alyssa was looking at it like, these aren't typos. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then she ended up not going with him.
No, I said no because I was like the fifth person he asked, and I was like, no.
Valid.
Oh my gosh.
Of course,
I
I
feel
wasn't
like-
gonna go with him.
I feel like
honestly, I
promposals
think
only
it's-
happen.
What?
I was gonna say, I feel like promposals only happen with like people who are actually in relationships and they like
Yeah.
they know they're gonna say yes. I got proposed to. It was really lame, but it was my best guy friend. And he calls me. He goes, "Hey, if I ask you to prom, will you say yes?" I'm like, "Not if you ask like that." He's like, "No, I know. I'll do a whole promposal thing, but like I need to make sure you say yes." I was like, "Okay,
Oh,
yeah."
That's a good idea.
That's cute.
Other than like someone spelling it out for you and then you being like, "Do I even like you? Like, do I care to spend my time with you?"
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to do it the Tina way. So
was
I'm
a
glad that your
lot.
guy friend did that. He was like, "Hey, so here's a sitch," and you're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Well, it would have fit in with Glee, but like not, but like kind of. So he's not. He is like very awake, like not a dramatic person, not a singer, actor, whatever. But my best friend at the time, told him what he should do. And he was supposed to do it at my birthday party, but his ex, who's also my neighbor, was there. Okay, this is wow, much more dramatic than it actually is. But his ex is my neighbor and was at my birthday party, so he decided not to prompose right there. Well, he was going to. People told him not to because, you know, sometimes boys are not smart. And so he was like, "Okay, I'll hold." So he came over at the week after or something, and he was gonna sing back then and during the proposal, "What Makes You Beautiful" by One Direction with a sign that I don't know,
Classic.
some cheesy, it was like a cute, like cheesy sign. He forgot the lyrics, so looked up he started singing "Say Something" because it was the only song he could think of. It was like,
Just say something, I'm giving
that
it
song?
away.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
I literally go,
the
I was like, "You
best.
went from One Direction and What Makes You Beautiful to Say Something."
Oh my god.
It's a whole thing. And I was like, "Okay, look, just yes." Okay.
That's hilarious.
I was like, I really wish you did One Direction. That would have been better, but that's okay. We can do this.
I honestly think it's more of a taboo these days to go to prom by yourself if you're a guy.
Yes.
I think that's accurate because you can definitely, when you're a girl, go to prom together with your friends, but for some reason it seems to be less appropriate to do that when you're a guy, and I don't know why. Like, I think that's weird.
I asked my senior prom date to prom in line at Wendy's. So very romantic, very special.
Yeah, what
That
did
is
you
like-
guys order? Did you guys share a Frosty?
Did you at least
What a
pay
cute-
for the
what a
food?
cute
Like,
proposal.
He was like, "No, she paid."
Because it was a Sadie Hawkins ask.
Yeah, but I do remember this girl asked my friend to prom, and this girl drove me crazy, and he said yes, and I was like, now I have to sit with Tess at senior prom. Ugh.
That's terrific. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then she ditched him, and she danced with some other guy for the last dance or whatever, for like several dances, and I was like, you asked him, and then you ditched him.
Oh my god.
Wow. Cold.
Cold. Calling you out, Tess. Can you
Tess.
listen?
so dramatic. How many years ago was this, Cullen?
You know I have a good memory.
Let it go.
It was probably almost 10 years ago because I had it rudely told to me that I have been out of high school. It will be 10 years this upcoming May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's fucking crazy.
It's my 8th grade 10-year graduation, so
What?
I'm like a child.
Oh my gosh. But we would have been in the same school building if we had gone to school together because mine was a 7 through 12 school.
Oh.
And I might have been
Interesting.
friends with you because our choir was 7 through 12 and I had a couple friends in the group. I looked out
Yeah,
for them, made sure they didn't like
Oh, that's
go
sweet.
insane.
We would have been friends. I went to a K to 8th grade, graduated there, and then
Me
went to
too.
high school.
Hmm.
Okay, wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Because I don't know if I just wasn't paying attention or if it was written poorly. So they're talking, right, in the student council, and they're like, prom is 142 days away, whatever they say, right? And then they're like, Sadie Hawkins dance, right? I don't know why, but the way I understood it, they were like, we're going to make prom a Sadie Hawkins. And then they had it 3 days
interesting.
later.
Oh.
That wasn't prom, right?
No. Oh, that's
Okay, thanks.
interesting. Yeah, because they did kind of jump to that. She was like, I think we should do a Sadie Hawkins dance. But it was literally
Right.
after they were just saying, here's how long prom is from now. That is kind of weird.
But
Yeah, and then they
don't
talked about like the
formal.
hot guy or whatever. So
Oh,
it's like,
you're right. I think I
yeah.
assumed that we were at prom. And we weren't.
Interesting.
Oh, I
Poorly
thought it
written,
was like
not
a
you.
winter formal. Maybe just because there was like snowflakes everywhere.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a midwinter dance.
Yeah.
I was,
But
So,
that was
okay,
that was
that-
very confusing.
that was not prom then, or do we think
Yeah,
that was prom?
That was
and
not
honestly,
prom.
I don't
like,
think so.
Okay,
if
great.
you're ever in doubt, just blame the show because it's probably the show.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're not good with things.
So Tina's like, we had discussed this at the Too Young to Be Bitter Club.
Has that, okay, also question who's never seen anything really. Is that a club that hasn't been seen
No.
before?
This
No.
is
Great,
new to this
okay.
episode.
Here's
No,
what's
This is
no,
just-
they definitely existed before this.
Oh, because Rachel
They definitely existed before
they
this.
had
We've
one
seen them at
episode
least
in
twice
season
before
1.
this.
No, just that one episode in season 1.
I think we've seen it more than once.
I don't know. But this season has been all about other clubs. And I don't think in previous seasons we've had this much club action.
Oh.
That's
Well,
what
the
I'm
reason
gonna
why I
call it.
asked was because the way at the end they're like the club is
Yeah.
disbanded.
It was like
I
a
was
success.
like, oh, was this club made just for this episode to show something? That's why I was like, okay, you just decided to end a club.
So
It
are
definitely existed before this, but it was like not
Used
a
as
major
much.
thing.
Got it.
Oh.
Because this episode was real. It was really involved.
Yes. It had Sugar, who last time I checked was dating Artie.
Right? That's what I thought.
Yeah, and
And
Tina, and it had Becky.
Lauren Zayces is still there. I'm like, what are
Didn't
you
she
talking about?
graduate?
You should have graduated. But maybe she was actually just a year below them, which I guess would make sense.
And then she was all like, ever since I broke up with Puckerman, like no one wants to date me. I've lost my mojo. And I was just like, this isn't the Lauren Zayces I know. Like, what is going on
No.
with this character?
I actually
Yeah.
completely forgot that she existed and didn't realize that it was Lauren Zayces. I thought it was a whole new character.
I assumed that she had realized the horrible mistake she had made by dating him and was like, oh no, I'm out of here. I've got better things to do. But no, apparently she went into like a depression of some sort. And I'm like, why? She's better than this.
Yeah. It just was weird. And then Dottie Kazatori, Tina's personal assistant.
Yes.
The last time we saw her was the Left Behind Club.
I actually liked that episode.
And so they're complaining about dances and stuff. And so Tina's like, all in favor of a Sadie Hawkins dance. And everyone, including Sam, votes for it except for Blaine. And so Blaine's like, okay.
And it's not until later that like one of the possible reasons is we're reminded of. Anyway, I just thought that like Tina, she completely like overtook this group, and I'm like, Blaine, you're not a very good president if you can't even run a single meeting.
No.
So the locker room scene, that was the ASB.
The what?
When they're in the locker room when Tina is singing, that's the student council.
No, this is.
Oh, so that's actually something. So Gleeboot. Why do I keep saying that? That's our podcast.
That's our
the
podcast.
Glee Club was disbanded essentially. Only like local, like where they could actually hang out, and so that's why they're always in different rooms. So like we are seeing the student council. It's just like the four of them and random other people. But yeah.
Also, Finn's a teacher? Question mark.
So okay, this is a great question. I was like, I thought Glee was over. Like, why is he still here? And then it was reminded that they are still doing things, and Finn's like, oh yeah, I'm here and I have to try to come up with something every week just to keep people interested. And I'm like,
what happened to the other guy?
So he is a teacher.
No,
Finn
he's a volunteer. Warm body in the classroom. That's what he is.
But he graduated.
Yes.
And he didn't go to college. So
correct.
Okay. Also, one thing that I was like, so he's like, as you said, he says like, I need to keep them interested, blah, blah, blah. And then the coach was just like, oh, well, Sadie Hawkins danced or whatever, and kind of gave him that idea. And he's like, okay, like, you should sing a song to ask your person to the dance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what if the person they want to ask isn't in Glee Club? Then like, how does that work? Like, do you want them to perform outside? Like what? You want Glee Club to only date Glee Club? I was like, hello. Just because you dated in Glee Club doesn't mean everyone has to date in Glee Club.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
Huh.
Yeah. So yeah,
that would have been an interesting scene though, that like someone whose person they want to ask isn't in the club, and so then like they have to like bust into to chemistry lab. Everyone's in goggles and like playing with chemicals, watching them sing.
And they're just like, who even are you?
Potion of love,
singing to me.
Love potion number 9. That's what they'd sing.
And that person,
which is actually
that
like
guy's just like, who are you? Why are you singing in my chemistry class? Like,
yeah, that and then the teacher would like get a blowtorch to try to get them out of the classroom.
Can I ask another like a really like dumb question? What happened to the other choir teacher?
He's in DC on the Blue Ribbon panel.
I'm sorry, say that again.
He's in DC on a Blue Ribbon panel for arts funding.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's why they need the volunteer.
Yeah, he's just off doing something, and we're just really glad that he's not there.
No idea who's teaching history.
And then, right,
good point.
Because the only important thing was Glee for him.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Who's teaching history? Where is Sam living? He's homeless. We don't know where he's living.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, his parents are apparently in Kentucky, and he moved back up here to Ohio, and he's living in the school, I think.
Was he supposed to be living with Mr.
He's supposed to be living with Finn, and then Finn graduated, so I'm like, guess he's still living with Finn?
Well, maybe, yeah. Well, Finn is still there. Homie, Homie is that kid that like graduates and thinks he like needs to come back and like, live his best life back in high school. Like, no, sir, you can graduate and never come back. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Although I am really looking forward to my high school reunion whenever that happens, just so I can rub it in everybody's faces that I'm working in Hollywood now. So
that's me. See, that's me with my middle school, because I went to 2 different high schools. Just there were so many high schools in my area because I went to high school in Texas, unfortunately, and there were like 11. So if you moved down the street, you could be going to a different high school.
Right.
And so I also just ended up friends with like the people that I went to church with, and they went to all different high schools too. So I don't think anyone at high school knows me. And I honestly, if someone from high school walked past me and said we went to high school, I would just be like, sure.
Nice to
But like
see
in middle
you
school, my middle school, again, K to eighth, there were like 60 people in my class. Everybody knew I was going to be in entertainment. And I said something to one of my friends actually, and she came to visit me from New Jersey because that's where I grew up, in New Jersey. And I was just like, yeah. And I was obsessed with wanting to be on Disney Channel growing up. Like I was a dork. She goes, honey, you're about to be working at Disney Channel. It's fine. I'm like, you're not wrong. So let's have this reunion now and remind everyone that they all made fun of me for wanting to do that. Thank you.
Rooting for you.
So Finn is like, yeah, it's so hard to come up with themes and things to do. And Beast is like, what about Sadie Hawkins dance? Like they didn't have that in my day, or no, they had it in her day, and she asked the preacher's son, and he was high the whole time. It was the only dance she ever went to, and they had a great time. And so he's like, okay, yeah, it's about empowerment. So this
is it?
It's
don't
about
know.
sticking to traditional gender roles, but just flipping them for a day.
Right. I was like, not really empowerment.
I feel like in 2000s, maybe earlier when Glee happened, but especially nowadays, if you were to say like Sadie Hawkins is the only one that was women empowerment, like people would say a lot of things because it's like, no, we're empowered on any dance. Like if I want to ask you at prom, I'll ask you at prom, you know? Yeah. I don't remember 2012, 2013. I was like a child. So maybe back then it was still like a big deal. Who knows?
Well, I graduated in 2011 and I asked people to my prom and they said no, which they're entitled to do, but I still went to prom. Like,
yeah, it wasn't like the end of the world.
Also, you asked.
Yeah, I asked. Yeah. And I went to prom anyway. Like,
go off, girl.
Yeah, it was very strange. I don't know.
Yeah, the way they phrased it was just odd to me. I was just like, this is the only time you're gonna be empowered is if you take, and then kind of going forward to that, like they were given the power and they still didn't do anything. Some of them didn't at least.
That I'm really glad that the lesson really, really won everyone over. It really did its job.
For all listeners out there who cannot see what I'm doing, I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah, it's also extremely heteronormative. Yeah, which creates some interesting friction in this club. So
I was very concerned about Tina, I believe is her name, performing for Blaine, because part of me, I was like, I thought he was like out and proud and happy. Yeah. So when she was talking about like unrequited love, and then it was a lot for me to take in.
She's saying so they go, Finn goes and is like, okay, here's the lesson, and then does anything else happen, or does it just go into Tina?
They're just in the locker room, and Tina starts giving this long speech about the song, and he's like, we don't have that much time.
And Finn was like, Finn was like,
we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank God for Finn saying that.
And then
because
she
that would have been awkward.
Is it the song that Mary Magdalene sings about Jesus
Christ Superstar?
And Jesus Christ Superstar.
And the song is very heavy-handed, which is very Tina. Tina's a very emotional person. When she picks songs, like she sang that one song and just wept while she was singing it. She was singing
Funny Valentine, yeah.
But it was very heavy-handed, and it's really interesting because, you know, Tina, I mean, we can clearly see that like Blaine's having some feelings about Sam.
Yeah.
And Tina is just expressing these feelings very openly about Blaine. And it's super awkward for everyone involved. Quick note, Artie, asshole, hate him. He's my Glee boyfriend. Misogynistic, thinks that like the world revolves around him. He's like, oh yeah, no, Tina's definitely gonna ask me, you know, her former her former lover type
Well,
situation.
he's like a charming, debonair person from her past, and Sam is like unique.
Yeah, I loved that was great. I kind of wish that had happened. Yeah, and Tina's singing the song. There's these weird flashbacks. Is that the flashbacks with Kurt, right?
No, yeah. Well, she's watching like Blaine, like giving them more
Oh.
tots.
Yes.
She's watching him write on the whiteboard and watching his butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. Or like they
So
were
much.
at the cafeteria and he like put his arm around her, but Sam was also there, and it was also
And
just
she,
like
like,
a very
looked-
platonic.
Look at the hand. It's like
And she was like really into it. Like, you okay?
Yeah. So
She's writing like Blaine Tina in their
Yeah.
Latina.
and I'm like,
Blina.
all we know their official ship name is Belina, which it could also be the name of a character that was cut from Cats.
Oh.
I didn't watch it.
Belina, the alley cat.
Love
My
it.
new fanfic, Cats OC.
Love it. Catch it on Wattpad.
Catch it on Wattpad and Wattpad and in the Kissing Booth 4.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry to say, but I think the third was where it ends.
Does it
Didn't
end there?
watch any of them.
Did it end there?
I didn't watch any Kissing
Should.
Booths.
Hope it ends. They're already like old.
Yeah, if it goes on, that would be a lot. Anyways, back to Glee.
But Tina's like done, and then she's like, Blaine. Well, no, even before that, Blaine's like looking around like, what? And she goes, Blaine, will you go to prom with me? And he's like, no.
Thank you.
He's like, I don't know what to say, but no. And I literally
Also,
was like, this is Finn's fault. Like, this is a terrible idea.
Yes.
You're like
Also, it's
forcing
like-
people to do this, and like it's gonna be just bad. Like, that's just not a good
Right.
idea.
And like if also like I was like, if you're friends with someone, especially if you're good friends, the way they looked like, I didn't know this until like the middle, but since they were clearly good friends, he could have been like, sure, and then been like, no. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, why would you humiliate your friend like that?
It's
Was also
putting-
kind of my thing.
It's
Both of
literally
them were not.
putting everyone in like a really bad situation, because like if they didn't talk about it beforehand, it's just like you either have to say yes and then you have to go back and say no, or you have to go with them because you feel bad, or you
Mhm.
have to say no and really embarrass them, and it's just
Mhm.
bad situation.
He was just too head over heels over Sam in that moment.
That
Yeah, maybe he was
he's
just like, if I
gay.
say yes now, then Sam
Yeah.
might not want to figure it out with me.
I didn't know until Tina was talking about he was bullied at a dance. Was that all they talked
Yeah.
about?
yeah.
That was season 2, like, right? When he talks about that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how it came up. I think it was just like when he was telling Kurt his bullying story and why he went to Dalton, right?
Yeah, I didn't think anyone else knew about that. I thought it was only Kurt.
Right. And that's like the only thing that reminded me of them, like, oh, okay, they must be like really good friends then, because who else would have known this information? And I'm like, also good thing. Well, at first I was like, oh, that's a good thing they reminded us, because I legit thought that was going to be the reason. No, that wasn't even the reason for Blaine.
Yeah, because
It was like he was like, oh yeah, that's right, that did happen to me, huh? I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Tina comes up and she's like, I think I owe you an apology, but I also think you kind of
You
owe
owe
me
me
an
an
apology.
Which is valid.
Yep.
When
Both
she
is
said
right.
that, I was like, again, not knowing things, I was like, why would you owe him an apology? Like he should have just said like sorry from the beginning. Also, like the fact that he said no and then didn't talk to her.
Right. That's weird.
That was weird, because
out
then
after.
they showed who was it? What's Heather Morris's character?
Brittany.
Yeah, and what's her name?
Marley.
Marley. Right. they were performing and they asked their people and they said yes. And then Tina looks over at Blaine and I'm just like, so you've gone this whole time not talking. Like, and then that's what, because obviously they talked after that. I was sitting like, oh, they're just not friends at all, really. And then this is just making it awkward. And then when I found out they were close, I'm like, oh, this is just all in all bad.
Yeah.
It was just executed wrong.
What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying it was just executed wrong. Their
Yeah.
whole relationship, Tina and Blaine.
Yeah.
It gives me, have you ever heard of the movie like Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List or something like that?
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've watched it.
It's basically the same plot. They're best friends. It's a girl and a guy. The guy's gay and the girl is like in love with him platonically and romantically, and was like, too bad he's not straight. And then it's a whole thing. But I was just like, this is literally the plot. Like, wow.
Yeah, to quote our podcast guest Emily from season 2, Tina, that messy bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tina, nothing is clean cut with Tina. And that's why I love her. And then so she's like, he's like, yeah, I think you have a crush on. She's like, I can't tell you, it's embarrassing. And she's like, tell me, we're friends. It's like, no. And then she's like, is it Sam? And he's like, those impressions are so cute, and his lips.
Which they weren't, by the way. I'm so sorry.
I find them
everyone loves the
endearing.
impressions in the show, but they're pretty just mediocre.
Yeah.
I know they're like not good, but I'm just like, I find it really endearing. I loved him in this episode. I literally called him the crazy conspiracy theory bitch, and I love him.
See, I was like, as soon as he said he liked Sam, which like obviously we knew just watching it, but when he said that, I was like, ugh, we have the same type, and it's like an idiotic boy. My type is like the childish boy, man of a child.
Oh my
And I'm like, we have the same type if that's what you're into.
Yeah, because there's like a scene of Blaine, because we get a flashback of Blaine's in the library, and Sam's like, hey, you need to focus on this. Like, look at the muscle mass Hunter Clarington gained in his head. And Blaine is just like zoning out watching his like lips. He's like, that's it. And he's like,
Talking
maybe
about, like,
he just
steroids.
worked out. I'm like, his head?
That was a good line. I literally was like, what?
Yeah. This weird storyline it's so dumb and contrived, and like when we go to talk about it a bit more, it makes no sense how really this would benefit them, because they didn't even get to perform their whole set, so they wouldn't have won anyway. It's also presumptuous from the other group. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just love the Blaine, Sam, Tina dynamic. I think the show is kind of benefiting from having a thinner cast of characters in high school. We're getting to see them a little more fleshed out. So then
Thinner is in like less people.
yes.
Not
as in like
skinnier people.
Oh no,
Patty,
Glee's
radio
fat
myself.
phobia
Okay.
has been rubbing off on Cullen.
Yeah, the Glee's fat phobia has infected me. So then we cut back and Tina's like, he's crush worthy. I get it. I get what it's like to like someone that's ever gonna like you back. Let's go to Sadie Hawkins as best friends.
And then they hold
why
hands
did they just
walking,
do this ahead of time?
right?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
they hold hands walking down, and I'm like, this isn't making the awkward situation where like she clearly has a crush on him. It's just not making that better.
See, okay, I'm a platonic cuddler and I hold my very straight guy friend's hands as I walk down, not having a crush on him. But I feel like that's self-sabotage for her because she knows he's never going to feel the same way. I'm like, technically the situation isn't awkward because I don't think he cares for it, but I think it's for her that she's just trying to make it feel better. But at the end, she's going to hurt herself.
Yeah, no, it is very much self-sabotage because like, yeah, totally. I could believe that they would do that, but like, I think it's also a very like teenager thing kind of to do is like, you're like, oh, like I still want to be close with them and sort of have our friendship the way it was, even if it's kind of like making those feelings worse.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So they go to Sadie Hawkins together. Alyssa liked Tina's dress.
I did like her dress.
I did too.
It was
liked
pretty
it.
cool.
I always like it when there's that, and I cannot think of the word right now, but that kind of like meshy overtone over the dress where it's like shape of like the dress that's like shaped really nice, and then that one that kind of goes over. I really like that actually. I will say just overall
Like,
with the fashion, it was not cute. Like that whole scene, chiffon, yes. But I think I didn't notice it because they were like, I think the first that walked in for Sadie Hawkins dance scene. It wasn't until the ladies performed later that I was like, this fashion is so bad at the dance. Like everyone else's dress, I
like
was just like
Britney's dress. It's pretty bad.
I was in pain.
I
was like,
remember
what?
anyone else's dress. I only remember Tina's
I think I remember.
dress.
I want to say her name was Sugar. Because it just felt very 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, which is when it was made, obviously. But I was just like, I just like that.
When the girls they like changed into those blue dresses, I was like,
that was a lot for me.
Yeah, I was like, I remember those dresses when I was going around downtown LA in the fashion district trying to find debut dresses for my court. I was like, wow, that's very 2009.
Gotta love when something dates itself by fashion. Every time I try to watch Buffy, I'm like, I can't do it. It's too much 90s.
So many tube tops, so many exposed bellies, and low riding jeans and pants. But baggy pants. Oh yeah.
They're back now.
Yeah, everything comes back.
Yeah. So they go to Sadie Hawkins and they're dancing. The boys do a performance of No Scrubs.
But no, they've swapped. So boys sang a song sung by women, and the women sung a song sung by men. Yeah.
But before their performance,
because that's empowerment.
Rabbit hole.
Oh, about like waiting by the phone, waiting to be called, and like the switching of roles.
And no one calls you, and then you're just sitting there in your depression. And I was
Blaine's like, all right, this one's for all the empowered ladies out there. Let's go.
That was a lot, yeah.
No Scrubs is a much more iconic song than Locked Out of Heaven, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I liked one better than the other.
Level.
I also them singing who sings that? Is it
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like both of them at the dance. I think it was probably my favorite out of everything that happened. All the other songs that performed in that episode.
Yeah. Your sex takes me to paradise is a great line for these underage children to be singing.
Yeah, 15,
I really liked that song, and then that lyric came up, and I was like, I forgot that lyric was in this.
When they so easily sang, "Your love takes me to paradise."
Right.
That's what I was expecting to hear, and then I heard sex. I went, whoa! I covered my adult ears.
Also, going back to the hierarchy, I mean, I don't know what Rachel thinks a high school hierarchy is, but like everyone at that dance felt like they were like the coolest people on earth performing. And I was just like, oh, okay. Also, there was someone that was like, air like thrusting with the boys were dancing, and I was like, that was a lot.
Like it. Yeah. So, the girls' number, like they sang, you know, your sex takes me to paradise. Yet when they sang that song about threesomes by Britney Spears, song 3, they did it so dirty, and not Christina Aguilera dirty. And I was just like, how can they get away with this, but they couldn't get away?
With everybody.
I still don't understand. Yep.
Becoming everybody
loves counting.
Oh my god.
So dumb.
Yeah. Oh, 10 out of 10 would look that up on YouTube. Glee's version of Britney's 3. Look it up. You're gonna hate yourself, but also love yourself at the same time. It's great.
Okay, so we'll get together and we'll look it up together. We'll send you our reactions to it.
Right. I would love that.
Yeah, we could post it on the SoMe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Blaine and Tina are dancing, and he's like, "Where have you been all my life, Tina Cohen Chang?"
Oh, this
and
is
they're
so
getting like,
comfortable.
I thought that was so weird.
Oh, it was so bad.
we're getting these shots that's supposed to look like they're about to kiss.
Yeah, I thought they were. I was like, oh no, this is wrong.
I thought she was gonna kiss him, and then
She was about to. Honestly, Sam saved her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She definitely thought he was gonna kiss her.
Wait, did it seem like he wanted to too, or?
I don't know.
They shot it in a way that it was supposed to be from her perspective. But I
Yeah.
don't think he was actually intending to do it.
It was very confusing because I also thought that. I was like, wait, is he also trying to kiss her? And I'm like, no, they're not. I thought he was gonna like drop her when Sam came up.
He almost did.
I will say, that was a one scene I did understand what the director was doing, and I was like, it's definitely her perspective.
Yeah, but he definitely was like, it felt like he was kind of milking the moment. It was weird.
Yeah, I feel like he was like into it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, that's not how. If you knew Tina had a crush on you, like if I was Blaine, like if I was in that situation, that's not how I would act. I wouldn't say those kind of things.
That's my question. Does
he
he actually know that Tina has a crush? Because they didn't explicitly talk about that.
That's true.
He didn't want to go, not because he knew that she had a crush on him. He didn't want to go because he has a crush on Sam. And she's like, oh yeah, I know how that feels. Yeah. But it wasn't like explicit. So that's actually
true. That's a point.
Does he know? Or is he just like, I'm trying to be a normal friend. I don't even know what's going on.
Maybe he's just trying to be friendly and a good friend.
Maybe he knows and he's going to act like he doesn't know, so he doesn't have to talk about it either.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd just be like one of those willfully ignorant things where you like, probably, like, if you really thought about it and analyzed the situation, then yes, you know, but you're just going to ignore it because that's awkward.
Yeah, because the thing is that, like, why would Tina sing a song about love to ask him to this dance? So
with
it has to be
beforehand.
Yeah, it has to be that, like, he's actively ignoring it.
Yeah. And also I think like you said, he says, where have you been all my life? Like maybe to him, he's just like, she's like a really good friend that he doesn't want to let go. And he's like, if we talk about it, then it's gonna be awkward and I'm gonna have to let her go. But right now I'm gonna just pretend I don't know because other than her being in love with me, it's fine.
Yeah.
Which is selfish, but whatever.
All of this is bringing me to a moment that I've sort of like talked about being excited about hearing Alyssa's reaction to it. And I think it's coming up very soon. And it has to do with this storyline.
I hope I have a good reaction for you because
I don't know what your reaction's gonna be, but I'm excited for it nonetheless.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really get Tina's whole thing though of being like, oh, I'm this ignored girl, because she was dating Mike for most of high school.
Yeah.
Oh, in the club?
Yeah.
Yeah, her presence there doesn't really make sense. Unless, of course, she can't get another date after Mike, but still, like, I don't understand why having a man in your life makes you more worthy than when you're single.
Amen.
I don't get it.
Explain, Glee. Explain.
Explain. Yeah.
What do you mean Arkansas?
Arkansas. I love that Vine so much.
Yes.
R.I.P. Vine.
R.I.P. Vine.
R.I.P.
I never got to watch Vine.
So Sam grabs Blaine and they run, and he's like, "This is important. We have to take care of this." And they run back to the locker room. And it's Blaine and Sam are showing Finn like, "See, all the warblers have gained like all this weight, and it's like normal for like a man to gain this much weight, and they've gained way more."
That's what he says.
Fact.
He was really into it. I kind of loved how cute he was.
Yeah, because last week he was also very into conspiracy theories. That's why I called him conspiracy theory bitch, because he's very getting into this, and I don't know why, but it's so silly and goofy, and it just makes him even more endearing. So I like this.
I like that he's passionate about it. You know, like he's really
he's very passionate.
He did research, like actual scientific research about men and their weight.
He Googled a lot.
He Googled enough to state facts.
Yeah.
Fact.
And then they show footage of Hunter going off at a barista at the Lima Bean. And then
the poor
barista.
Also,
yeah.
but like Hunter, never mind, I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, no, he literally like throws shit all over the ground, and the barista's just standing there, not doing anything. He's just like
blank face.
What you would normally do, honestly.
I kind of wish after all of that and Hunter went away, the barista was just like, next.
I'm never wearing a shirt that says "Thank you, next."
Oh,
that could have worked.
And then he's like, "Just a video and some stats isn't gonna help me prove that the warblers are on steroids. This is a big deal." And then they're like, "What about round-faced warbler?" When he
but
did
they
perform
also they bring up the rule book, and they're like, they can't use any performance enhancing drugs like amphetamines, etc. And for Loco, I died. I was like, oh my god, that's so good.
And then he's like, "Yeah, for red-faced warbler, you're kind of the sunshine of the group, aren't you?"
I like how they snap to get him in. They're like, I need more than that. And they're like, we need facts or whatever he said. And then they just both go snap. He walks in.
He's been lurking in this locker room. Also,
in a warbler's jacket.
So what I don't understand is why they're like, he's like the sunshine of the group. And Finn's like, yeah, he is, isn't he? And I'm like, was this like a weird joke in the fandom that the show was trying to play off of? Because I was like, I don't remember this guy at all.
I have no idea. I didn't get that joke.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it had something to do with him having a round face because the sun is round. Like that's where I was going.
I was thinking it was more of like Blaine probably knew him because Blaine came from there, right?
Yeah, they definitely knew each other.
And I was just like, oh, maybe like he was always like the good, nice person there.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too, Sunshine.
Maybe because they competed against each other, he was like the chill, nice one.
He was always like, he was the first to join when they were doing that Michael Jackson number, like the "It's Black, It's White."
Wait, you remember that?
Oh,
like, that's actually.
I don't remember that because I didn't care for that. So that's
I didn't watch any of the other warblers. All I know is that, as far as I know, they could switch warblers every time, and I'd have no idea.
I would say there's only a couple that have been actual standards, and the only reason the one guy is the only one I recognize because he has like bright blonde hair and this like interesting haircut, so he stands out. Other than that, they're all just blue jackets with red trim.
I knew Grant Gustin when he was there. Right?
Grant Gustin is still there, yeah.
Oh, was he not there here? Because I don't remember. Oh, wait,
He's not in
they
this
didn't show him,
episode.
huh?
Yeah.
They didn't show him gaining weight in his face.
Oh,
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, they didn't want to have to pay for his headshot to be in there.
So then they're like, will you testify? And he's like, it kind of leaves it on a cliffhanger. But then Blaine and Sam are back at the dance, and Blaine and Tina kind of like are dancing and having a good time, but Blaine is wistfully looking at Sam and Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the end of that storyline. Is there something I'm missing?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah. So that just leaves. Oh boy. Oh well, let's talk about the girls like at the dance. Lauren Zizes and Sugar and Dottie and a bunch of girls are just sitting there, and Coach Beast is like, "There's no need to be wallflowers. Like, this is Sadie Hawkins," and they're like, "It's just pointing out what kind of losers we are." And then Dottie's like, "Oh look, Brett's here, Stoner Brett," and then they're like, "You can go out and ask him." So Lauren Zizes asks Joe to dance.
Yeah, he's about to like stuff like a macaron in his face, and he's just like, But he doesn't say anything. All of a sudden, we just see him on the dance floor, and they're dancing like holding hands like this, and they're like sidestepping. It's very weird.
And then Dottie asks Brett, and Sugar asks Artie, who I thought they were dating anyway.
She like violently jumps onto him in his lap. I was like,
I was thinking about that, and I was like, what if he fell?
yeah, like what if he like flipped backwards because she like jumped? Yeah. And then
and then the Lonely Hearts Club is disbanded at the end because
yeah. Oh, and then what's her name? Carbonara Cacciatore. I knew it was some sort of pasta last name.
Oh.
Wasn't she also the girl who was supposedly like Tina's assistant?
Yeah.
Anyway, but she's like at the group and she's like, Brett likes me. He made me brownies and I can't stop eating them. And everyone's like, that was good. But I think that's it.
Yeah. So
no, at the end, what's her face? Tina is just like, I found the love of my life.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah. And then Becky's like, it better not be gay Blaine. And then they're just like, ha ha ha.
Ha ha, let's dance.
Did she know?
Maybe Becky was just like, Becky's like, I saw you guys together. She's like, it better not be him.
Oh my god.
And she laughs and she's like, ha ha
ha, let's dance.
Oh my gosh.
That was that.
That was the end of that storyline.
That was the end. So let's quickly talk about so Brittany comes up to Marley and is like, hi, I'm Brittany. And Marley's like, I know. And she's like, we've just literally never had a conversation before.
Which is not true because last episode, literally when Brittany and Sam were telling them about like how much they don't believe in these people that they're friends with before the Mayan apocalypse happened, Marley's like, you can't just like say these things to people. And she was like, I was just going to tell you how delightful I thought you were. So they have had a conversation.
Yeah, but never fully one-on-one.
True.
Yeah. And Marley, she's like, yeah, it looks like you're crushing on Jake. And Marley's like, yeah, we had a few dates and it's going well, but since I passed out, he's been super weird and hasn't been talking to me. And she's like, well, you should just tell him how you feel.
Which is not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, red flag.
Red flag.
And then they're like, we're gonna do a number together, and Molly's like, what? And she's like, yeah, usually it happens whenever I say it's Brittany bitch, or I just turn around.
Yeah.
Do one of my notorious turns, and she turns, flips her hair a little bit, and boom, they're both in matching dresses.
And so all the girls are in these blue dresses, and they come in and they sing, tell him that you need him, or whatever. And
I hate this song.
Yeah, I do too. I liked their dresses though. I thought it was like, oh, that's like fun that they're doing this. Would never wear that, but like, that's a nice touch.
I will say
love
that
the lyrics.
performance.
women were created to make love their destiny.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
God no.
Were you
Also-
watching my face? when
But
I
this
was-
is an episode about women empowerment, Lyle. Oh my God. Cullen.
You just called me your boyfriend's name.
Hi, Lyle.
I was gonna say that performance made me uncomfortable because I don't know,
Yeah.
like rest in peace, Naya. But like when she was missing, Heather did this interpretive dance and posted that as her like hope that she was okay. And that was all I could see with her dancing. And that's why I was so uncomfortable because I was like, I had to pause. I was like, I can't watch this. I moved forward. I was like, I can't. But as soon as she like did a dance, like I think it was the whole way into the, I don't know, there was a dance move that looked very similar to what her interpretive dance was.
Mhm.
And I was like, can't do this, moved on. And I like clicked forward. I was like, great, next.
You didn't miss much, to be honest. I did not like that song at all.
Yeah, no, there weren't even really many face journeys. But Marley had a lot of like very like aggressive facial expressions. Unique was there. I don't think, I mean, should we be counting Unique's lines these days? Because honestly,
Yeah, Unique was sitting on the piano at one point during City Hawkins.
it was this was just very strange, but yeah, hated the song. And then she like Marley turns and then all of a sudden she's like out of her costume.
In plain
So-
clothes.
I was like, oh, so they didn't actually get these costumes, they just like sang. I was like, huh, that's an interesting touch.
And she asked Jake, and he says yes. And Brittany asked Sam, and he says yes, and Yoda speak.
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
cute. I see
and,
why Blaine likes him.
And then, so then Jake is riding down the hall in his badass scooter. And Kitty and the cheerleaders like block it off, and Kitty's like, you should dump the bulimic loser and go to the dance with me. And he's like, I thought you and Marley were friends. And she's like, duh, we are. I'm still gonna gaslight her every chance I get.
Yikes.
That is not what friendship is, Kitty.
I was not a fan of this girl or the scene or the storyline, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
It makes
no,
me
I mean,
wonder,
this
like,
is where the
What
problematic
trauma
stuff
did
starts.
she have happen to her in middle school that she thinks that's what friendship is?
Maybe she was exactly like Quinn. Maybe she used to be chubby and had a big nose, and then she didn't all of a sudden. And
Kitty's
her name
never
was
had
Lucy.
a real friend before, you guys.
That's
Never.
true. She did kind of like make that reference a few episodes ago, and we're like, is it true that like she doesn't ever have anything to do? And that could be why. It's because she's probably just doesn't have friends because she's really mean.
And she basically offers Jake to have sex with him, and he's like, aren't you the good Christian virgin type? And she's like, I've like shed that. Like I want to have sex or whatever. He's just like, oh. And then he's getting coffee with Puck, and he's like, but Kitty's a sure thing. But Puck's like, but you really like Marley, and you don't want to, like, people your age think it's all about scoring, but like,
Which, like, also, if you're going to a dance and if the choice is go have a date to dance or have sex with someone, like, you can have both. Like, you can have sex with a person and then go to a dance with someone else. Like, I don't know why that was like a whole like it had to happen all together type situation.
Like, I don't know. It felt like they were talking
It wasn't
about
prom.
pieces of meat.
Yes, it felt like, okay, he said like basically Kitty's a sure thing, but like have he and Marley ever talked about possibly having sex? Like it's like he doesn't even want to like put in the work of like treating her like a human being and like
'cause
talk to
they
her
didn't
about
even-
that.
Not really.
Well, like, what's his face? Puck was like, I've had every flavor of Cheerio, and I was like,
I vomited. That is so
Ew.
gross.
I'm sorry, but I saw his face and I did not want to watch. I
Oh
was
my
like,
god, yeah, no, like
"Mm."
this. So like right here, he had some facial hair that was growing in. I was like, no. And then so like there was
He
this
still
weird
looks sick.
thing.
He looks sick still.
Yeah, he's having a rough time. But like just before that, he was yet again the moral backbone of a storyline. Like he was back when Quinn was like being crazy. But then immediately he says this and then goes into another gross ass part of this storyline. And I'm like, you can't have both. You just can't.
No. So he basically tells Jake, I'm gonna help make sure Kitty doesn't get in the way of you and Marley because you really like Marley. And I'm like, does he? But okay.
Right.
And then Puck comes up to Kitty and is like, leave my brother alone. And she's like, haven't you graduated? Barely. And he's all like, yeah, but I'm back in Lima now to focus on my screenwriting. And
she's like, don't you have to spell to be a writer? And I was like, I mean, not necessarily, but like it helps.
It does
He
help.
spelled wrong. Didn't he spell alone wrong?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, I can spell ALOAN. And Kitty is just like, okay.
And he's like, stay away from my brother. Like, I know we Puckermans are like chocolate chip cookies. We know you're not good for you, but you have to have them.
No.
And you wake up in bed crying
With
crumbs.
crumbs. And I'm like, I don't even want to know what crumbs is supposed to represent. Don't want to know.
No. And then she basically, did she ask? Yeah, she asked him.
Yes, she's the one who initiates because, girl power, women empowered.
Women empowered to be what in this case?
Who knows?
Statutory rape?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like this is.
Let's talk about the reflection.
Yeah, I feel like this whole shift in their relationship is because she's gonna set him up.
Ooh, interesting. That's interesting.
I really kind of want that to happen.
Of real life.
Yes, let's talk about that reflection because he's literally acting like a pedophile. He last episode or a couple episodes ago, he was like looking at these underage girls while he was at the school trying to catch eyes with them. He also said that he had intention to try to scope them out, and then now he's agreeing to the line. She's like, you're gonna go to the dance with me. She's like, yeah, he's like, aren't you underage? He goes,
aren't you underage?
I have a fake ID. He's like, good enough for me.
Oh my
Pedophile.
God,
Pedophile.
That would be canceled already.
Yeah. And then the stuff with real life, is like, it's like a really very uncomfortable reflection of this person.
Mm-hmm.
I was very uncomfortable with everything.
Yeah. This whole storyline is really icky.
Is like every episode of Glee problematic?
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is sort of a new brand because, when Puck was also a high schooler and he was trying to, go after the ladies, it was less problematic because he was the same age. Now
it was problematic in the other direction though.
Because he had the cougars that slept with him.
Yes, that too.
God.
So it's sort of this weird thing where he's also.
Well, it's the cycle, right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the cycle for sure. He was taken advantage of, and now he's taking advantage of young girls. But it's also just like, this obviously would never happen now on TV, but like even back then, like I don't understand how
this flew. How people were like, yep, put this on TV.
This is literally pedophilia. Like that's what this is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like that's what it is.
Like I feel like they just thought it would be funny to put in. And it's like
they're really.
You would think just
really
like
funny
because I work in TV, and I would like to move into like the development side of things, and it just makes me think like no one in the writer's room, no one in the studio, and no one at the network, especially the network who has mandates and airs them. I'm just like, where? Okay, remind me what network this aired on though.
Fox.
You would think there would be, but also
But like,
depending on who they heard at Fox, maybe they just weren't smart enough for that one.
yeah, and I think like at this point, I think there was at least one woman on the writing staff in the
There
writers room.
was at least last season because she was there. She guested on the
Glee project.
the Glee project.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I don't know, maybe she was overpowered or didn't think of it, but like it doesn't rest on her only. Like it's just like there's so many chances to be like, hey, actually no, this isn't funny. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so Kitty and Puck go to the dance and she's like, I read your script.
Also, how did he go with her? She's what, a sophomore or a freshman?
Oh,
How did this 18 or 19-year-old man get into a high school dance with this 15, 16, 17-year-old girl?
We had rules about that in my high school.
Yeah. I don't think you were allowed to bring anyone who was over 18
you had to
or
be
wasn't
18.
at the school.
You had to be 18 to have someone that was 19, but no one over 21. And this was only for prom.
I think it was like no one over 21 in my high school also.
Yeah, but you had to be 18.
You had to have a ticket and you had to be under 21.
So because we didn't have these rules in homecoming because it really was just like mainly anyone under, but definitely for prom there were rules, especially because like if say like you dated someone and they graduated but you're still going to that school for senior year, like that was harder for them to kind of say no to. So that one, that's why they have the rules, since most people who go to prom were 18 and up for me, because I only had senior prom. That's why they made the rule of that.
oh.
Yeah. It's just like this is just, it's so uncomfortable.
So they go to the dance and Kitty's like, I read your script. It kind of, the spelling errors are terrible. Have you heard of spell check? And Puck's like, no. And she's like, but the White House pool boy is the only one that can save the president from the aquatic python aliens. It's actually kind of genius. I think you have talent.
That's not talent. That's a really weird high concept movie.
Yes, yeah. I'm just kind of like, ooh.
Like the high concept, like if she likes the concept, sure, but like I don't
I'm
know.
trying to imagine reading that script by an amateur writer with 1,000 spelling errors.
They would never
No,
get
thank
picked
you.
up.
It never.
Gosh.
And then
Also, how he's like, why didn't you tell me? I gave it to you 3 days ago. Like,
I'm like, how
Since
long have
when
you
did
guys
you
been
have that
talking? Why are you
relationship?
friends?
Yeah.
right. Like you asked him to go with you to the dance. You didn't ask to be best friends. And suddenly he's like, I must say yes and send her my screenplay. Okay.
Right? It's so
When she
weird.
complimented him, it seemed like he like had a change of heart and was like, oh, maybe I have a crush on this young girl.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
falling
until
in
they
love
were
and
just
I
like,
hate
let's
it.
go to the
But
until she was like, let's go to the back seat. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, she offers to go to the back seat. And I think they're trying to be like, it's okay, she wants it. But I'm like, this is not
Doesn't
okay.
matter.
Don't
He's an
care.
adult.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's his responsibility to know not to encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like Kitty can't be that genuine about a script that she read. I feel like her reaction to that script is also half the reason that like I feel like she's setting him up.
Yeah, no, that's actually
She was like buttering him up with her reaction to that script.
Like she looks like she's being genuine, and it might just be for his sake. But I think you're right. Like there's something else there because like she.
I don't know. I could be totally off base. I have been before. Glee is unpredictable in very terrible ways.
Yeah, like encouraging a pedophilia storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yikers.
So meanwhile, Jake and Marley are at the dance, and they're dancing, and Marley's like, I really like you.
She's very aggressively dancing while having this conversation, and it's hilarious. She's like, yeah, so you look like someone who might hurt me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you want to like sit down for a
I'm
second?
thinking, why are you having a serious conversation while dancing when dancing's supposed to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I trust people, and that means people can hurt me. And I'm like, valid. You did let Kitty give you an eating disorder because you trusted her. And then she's like, I just want to take things slow. Can you do that? And then she's like, oh, I have to go. But then they're dancing together, and Jake's like, yeah, I can do that. I can take things slow. And Ryder is singing some song and watching and jealous
I only
because
have
Ryder
eyes for you.
only have eyes for you. Yeah. So Ryder's watching because Ryder went to the dance with the girl in a neck brace.
Yeah.
Who kept smiling
Broke neck
at him.
cheerleader.
Yeah, because after it became Sadie Hawkins, Artie's like, I feel like the power is reversed. And the guys are walking down the hall as the girls are watching them. And I'm like,
oh, yeah. And because he's misogynistic.
yeah. And it's just like, you guys are the worst. So I think that's all the storylines for this Sadie Hawkins episode, right?
I think so.
What a
My
wild
question
episode.
is, oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
My question is why Marley continues to trust people.
Mhm.
And why Marley? Why?
She literally I love when characters just explain who they are, like their key characteristics. Like writers are supposed to keep close to, stick to those, but she's just like, yeah, here's the characteristics that my writer gave me. She's like, I am optimistic about people. I like to see the best in them, and that's why I get hurt all the time. I think that's it. They're just like, we're just
Felt like
gonna
a very
keep her like that.
therapy based. Like she was like, I went to therapy, and my therapist said I should tell you this to like lay
Actually,
down.
that might have happened because she is in
Yeah.
therapy.
They were talking
I
about
will
going to therapy
say-
with Dr. Goodsits.
Yes.
I will say, weird way she said it, but I liked how she laid down the law though.
Yeah, I think that's really
Probably
good.
the strongest women empowerment from the whole episode was her being like, this is how it's gonna be if you're gonna say yes. If you don't, then we move on. Like I was like, you know what? Okay.
If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know it's a pretty strong conversation, but like a weird placement to have it.
Yeah.
To be bobbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a dance. Yeah.
How happened?
So if that's the end of the storylines, that means it is Tina time.
Tina had 34
lines.
34 lines.
Me and Alyssa counted together.
Yes.
And you got different answers.
Well,
Love that. I mean, it
don't-
always happens.
he writes it down and I don't because I never write anything down. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
valid.
Tina had a major storyline and she talked
did.
a lot.
And I think this is one of many of the times in which she's had her own storyline that it's revolved around her relationship with a man.
I think her storylines only revolve around her relationship with a man, unless
I didn't want to like flat out say that because I'm like,
Well,
has
I
it
guess
been-
when she hit her head.
Yes, when she hit her head and she was like, "Oh, I'm Rachel now."
oh yeah.
That was the only one.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Yeah.
Hannah, I'm super curious. What was the thing you wanted my reaction to?
Oh, that's coming up.
Oh yeah, no, it's not in this episode.
Well, okay.
That's I know. But here's the thing.
Misconceptions.
I have teased it twice. This is the second time I've teased it, and you're gonna forget that we've had this conversation, and then it's gonna come up, and I'll be like, "See, I told you." No, but I think it's next episode. Cullen and I kind of talked about it because I'm like, I mean, it's gotta be. How long can they really let this thing go? This weird relationship with her and Blaine, like.
So it has something to do with her and Blaine's relationship.
You said too much.
I don't think I did. Because no one could guess this, even if they tried. So yeah,
Okay.
I just think
I just
Tina-
now have really weird guesses in my brain.
throw them out. I want to hear them. What, based off of this episode, what crazy things do you think could happen in their relationship?
Well, I really think they're gonna end up kissing.
Ooh.
because I think what's her face, she ain't shy of doing it. She's gonna go.
She
for
almost
it.
did it.
So after what she
Exactly. That's
did,
why I'm like I don't think that might be the first time she tried, but it will not be the last. I don't know. Part of it is like I don't know. I just have really weird in my mind what they could be, and I don't know.
Well, catch the next episode, and
Oh yeah, I'm ready
whenever
for
that
it.
episode happens. But yeah,
Ready.
Tina, she really does get the short end of the stick a lot. Even when she gets a lot of lines, it's just all like doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Let's put it that way.
As I said to Alyssa, they treat Tina's character with nothing but dignity.
Yes.
They're like, her storylines are she wants a guy in a wheelchair to walk. She gets hit in the head and has a hallucination. She's in love with a gay man.
Yeah. She's poor Tina.
Poor Tina.
As I
She
said
does
earlier, I end up liking guys who end up being gay. Let me just tell you, once you find out that they're gay, you back away.
And here's the thing, Tina has known that he's gay since they met.
Yeah,
So
he's like out in prep.
he was
That's why I
dating
was so
Kurt.
worried.
Yeah.
I was literally like,
She
because
just
I think the first time, because the first time I saw the two of them was the student council, and then I feel like the next time was when she was asking him through singing, and I was like, is he not out? Is that a storyline that hasn't happened? But like,
Yeah.
he and Kurt, and then I was just like, maybe I just don't know Glee at all.
He had like a hot moment where he was like, oh, maybe I'm bi. And he kind of went on a date with Rachel and hated it. But you know what? Just because he didn't like Rachel, like being kissed by Rachel against his will.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that happened. Maybe he could still be bi. It's fluid. Sexuality is fluid. It can
that's valid.
change, develop.
You don't have to be attracted to every person that you kiss. Like,
or who kisses you, because that's an important distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk MVPs and LVPs. Casey, who is your least favorite character?
It has in that episode.
Yeah, in this episode.
Rachel and the pedophile and that girl with the pedophile.
Oh, you got like a whole trio. Yeah.
The real unholy trinity of Glee.
Yeah, I was just so disturbed by that scene when
Mm-hmm.
he's like, "Oh, fake ID, good enough for me." I'm like, "Oh,
Yay.
no."
Joey?
my least favorite and my most favorite. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Just your least favorite.
Oh,
Least
Oh,
favorite.
just
first,
least.
yeah.
Sorry, friend. I want to say Puck, but in my mind he wasn't in the episode because like I'm ignoring him from that.
Mm-hmm.
So Rachel or Kitty, but then that would involve Puck. Because I honestly, those three just really, I would like that the Puck and the Kitty story weren't even real. So we're just gonna say Rachel, just because she was a lot for me, and she was only in 3 scenes.
oh yeah. You know who else was not a great character to watch is that Adam guy. He was cringy.
Yeah.
yeah, there's something weird going on with him, and I don't know what it is, and I can't put my finger on it right now.
Well, you'll find out next episode, maybe. Who knows?
Possibly.
I actually almost went with Adam because of that disturbing version of Baby Got Back and the choreography that he definitely came up with, because he came up with the
100%.
name of the group. I'm going with Puck because I mean, it's so hard. Like doing this podcast, it's so hard to look past this very obvious reflection. Obviously, hindsight 2020, but like very obvious reflection of something that's going on in this actor's personal life. It just, I don't know. Like it just kind of goes to show that like stuff that we put in our media, it's very important to understand the kind of impact it's going to have, because we don't know how him acting in this role could have impacted his personal life. So Puck.
I'm also going with Puck. It's just gross. The storyline didn't have to happen. There's multiple ways that you can like make sure that Kitty isn't bothering your brother.
Right.
But even so, like, honestly, like Jake, like,
just say no,
you
Jake.
can ignore it.
Have some self-control.
You don't need your big brother to come in and save you.
Boys can control themselves.
Yeah, I don't understand that. So it's kind of like a combination of Puck Jake for me, because the two of them together this episode were just really treating women terribly.
Oh yeah, as if there were food.
They're literally just, women are just temptations for them to have, and if one is just too tempting than another, their wingman brother has to step in and take care of it.
Yep.
They seem like those characters that if a girl was wearing a spaghetti strap, they'd be tempted.
Oh,
So dumb.
we also didn't talk about the quick shot of when Kitty sat down and she was like, oh yeah, also I don't like to wear underwear.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
was
was
happened.
a whole thing.
We literally
I'm
had
I'm telling
her
you, I'm
sitting
forgetting this
down.
whole storyline.
Yeah. It was
I'm
nasty.
forgetting this whole storyline. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm going with Puck.
Yeah.
Pedophilia, not okay. Hot takes from Gleeboot.
We've made our stance. We do not support pedophilia.
We do not.
We think it's gross.
It is wrong.
And it shouldn't be in media like that either.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
it's so irresponsible. Like, this is just one of the irresponsible things that Glee has tackled or included, because this isn't really tackling pedophilia, but like
multiple times pedophilia has been in Glee. Multiple times.
Yeah, Christian
In a
Chenoweth's
joke.
character.
Yes.
in a joke.
They joked about it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's also something that, like, there are stand-up comedians who've had to like face consequences of people being like, oh yeah, hey, remember this like joke you made on Twitter that was kind of joking about pedophilia, or like, hey, you remember this stand-up bit that you did? So like, apparently it was super funny at one point to some people, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's talk about our MVPs.
channel some
Casey, who's your
positivity.
favorite character?
I can't think. I think I'm just gonna be biased and say, what's Darren Chris's character's name?
Blaine.
Yeah, I just like watching him.
We love Blaine here, so yeah.
Yeah.
Joey?
I think I want to say Blaine, but I also think Sam, other than his horrible impressions, that I was like, my thing was why that was the one thing that really made them be like, oh, his impressions. No, but I think Sam overall was great, lovely, adorable.
You can't steal him. He's my Glee boyfriend.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I told you mine is Kurt. So like, but like Kurt was involved with Adam, and like it was a whole thing with Kurt. So not for that. Not for this episode. I'm gonna take Sam. Also, because he's friends. Also, because like Cord is friends with the Jonas Brothers, and I'm like the Jonas Brothers girls. So I almost wore a Jonas Brothers t-shirt actually.
I'm also going with Sam because he was weirdly endearing in this episode. Yeah, but I'm trying to think if I wanted to do like a special shout out, because I had someone in mind, but then I was like, no, they kind of sucked. Yeah, no, just Sam.
I'm gonna go with Marley, because I think it was pretty cool that she asked Jake out, even though she was nervous about it, and that she laid down, like what she wanted from their relationship, and was like, if you're not willing to do this, then that's it. I don't want to waste time with you. And I feel that.
And she
because
didn't,
I do
and
that
she
a
didn't
lot.
have anyone tell her to do that. Like she just in her mind said she was going to do that.
Yeah.
Great choice.
That did happen, yeah.
Yeah, so honorable mentions to Marley, Blaine, and Sam. I like them all this episode. There are a lot of likable things. I'm actually going with our messy bitch Tina as my MVP. she's just so earnest in her messiness. She just means everything she says. And even if I feel like the show disempowers her, but like Tina is like grasping for empowerment. So even as the show is like, Tina, you're part of the Bit Too Young to Be Bitter Club. You are waiting on guys to ask you out, like blah, blah, blah. Tina's still like, I have a crush on a gay guy and I don't care that he's gay. I'm just shameless about it. Just so messy, such a real teenager. Love it.
You forget they're teenagers because they don't look like it.
Yes, because they're all like 30.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Also, because like Finn looks like they're the same age, but he's like a volunteer, and then Puck looks, he looks older, but they all look like they're the same age, but they're all in different grades.
Yeah. So let's talk about the music. So for our songs this episode, we had I Don't Know How to Love Him from Jesus Christ Superstar, Baby Got Back, Tell Him, No Scrubs, Locked Out of Heaven, and I Only Have Eyes for You. So Casey, what was your least favorite song?
Probably the Baby Got Back one. That was so weird.
Yes.
I couldn't go through that whole thing. Yeah.
Joey?
I should watch what you were telling me though, that how they stole it.
Yeah.
My least favorite, it's gotta be, I want to say Baby Got Back and the Jesus Christ Superstar one, because it just made me uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, that one does too.
Just too much for me to watch.
I wrote Baby Got Back, but also I want to give like a special LVP song shout out to Tell Him, the really misogynistic, like, women, we're just meant to love men. That has a special dark place in my soul. So
I agree with that. I'm going with the same exact pick. So Baby Got Back is just horrid in all manner of the word, in watching and listening to. But then the other song just like made me mad. So yeah.
I'm going with Baby Got Back. It was pretty scarring.
Uber cringe.
Uber cringe. So let's talk about our favorite songs. Casey, what was your favorite song?
I think the only song that I liked was the Bruno Mars song.
Locked Out of Heaven.
That one felt, I feel like everything was cringy except for that one.
Yeah. Joey?
I agree. I also I also think No Scrubs was fine too. I think those two, I think for like the whole episode, because again, I love Glee covers, but this episode I felt like everything was bad, and then Locked Out of Heaven and No Scrubs were just like enough for me to be like, okay, that was better than the others.
Yeah.
If I didn't know the context, I would probably be like, oh wow, these are really great songs. But then knowing that it goes into these storylines, I'm like, oh, this is
maybe that's also why I liked No Scrubs and Locked Out of Heaven, because they didn't really have a storyline. They were just performed at the dance. So I'm like, okay, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Like honestly, if I just forget that they're supposed to be teenagers singing this pretty aggressive song about sex, I actually loved that cover. Some of the harmonies were super banging. Loves Unique's voice. Also, Marley's voice is really great too. I loved the lady grunts in the song. Loved it. I really thought it was a great number, and honestly never heard it, so I'm gonna put it on my Glee songs that I actually like playlist.
I'm going with No Scrubs because I liked it. I was singing along with it and it was like fine. I think it fit into the story the best out of all of the songs that they had picked. And but I do want to say that the performance of the girls doing Locked Out of Heaven was way better. It was just way better performance.
We didn't even talk about, they like banged their microphone stands.
Yes,
like,
they did.
This
that
is so
awesome.
good. It was so good.
I have a hot take.
Uh-oh. Jesus Christ
Oh,
Superstar
gosh.
song.
No, I like
Oh.
to tell him. The song is sexist, and I will agree that those are very sexist lyrics, but I love a blue dress, and they were swishing them around, and I was entertained.
Oh,
He was like, if they didn't have lyrics and they just did the choreography, it would be number one.
It would be perfect.
Yeah, like, just like the song, like, if you're not listening to the lyrics, it's just like, it's kind of like fun, like poppy 50s-ish number, and then you're like, wait, women were created.
Then there's like
to
a
make love
fun
their
50s message to it.
I
Yeah.
don't really like 50s music either, so that kind of was like not
Yeah.
for me. But
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
your
definitely a
taste in
bop.
music is not my taste in
Yeah.
music.
But then you like listen, you're like, ooh, yeah, but
Yeah, I thought Heather Morris and Melissa Benoist's voices really went together.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the end of our episode. So me time. Casey and Joey, are there any social medias you'd like to plug? Any projects you'd like us to look out for?
I don't have any projects coming up. Hopefully I do, but I usually do music videos lately. So if you want to see it, you can see it on my website at CassandraPimentel.com or on my Instagram, some snippets if anybody doesn't have a long attention span. On Cassandra.Pimentel.
Can you spell out the website? Because I'm not sure how to spell that.
Oh yeah, it's CassandraPimentel.com. So just the name.
And what
Okay,
was your
cool.
Instagram again?
My name, Cassandra.Pimentel.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know Casey, Cassandra. Cassandra's so formal. So I like when family and friends call me Casey, so it feels less formal.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the episode description.
Thanks.
Joey?
I've got nothing. I'm actually working on getting a development job, so not right now. But hey,
Good luck. Good luck.
thank you. Thanks, guys. But yeah, I say you all check out Cassandra's website. It's gorgeous. Her videos are amazing. I'm just gonna be her like hype girl for this.
Thank you.
I just love everything she has. So everybody go check it out. And she has it on TikTok, right? You still do TikToks with them? Yeah.
No, I should.
No?
Should back. You know, TikTok putting videos out there is so much energy. Like I want to, but man,
It is
that's a
so
lot of
much work.
energy and work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you can
that's what I'm gonna hype.
so you can follow Gleeboot on Instagram, Twitter, maybe TikTok at Gleeboot Pod. And then we're also on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourboyryan99 and YouTube at yourboyryan.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen. And hopefully I'll be having some more digital art out soon because I got a tablet that actually works. So and I was working on some digital paintings today, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yay.
Fun.
So Casey and Joey, thank you so much for coming on. We've talked about it for
you.
forever. I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hope you had fun. We had fun having you
Thanks.
for this bananas episode. With,
What a fun app. I will say
It
that.
was a wild ride.
yes.
I'm glad I got to chat. Honestly, I'm glad you made me watch it because if I had to watch it and then just like not think about it, I'm glad we had to talk about it.
You have to process Glee after you watch it.
Yes.
I commend you all for watching all of the seasons because after watching that one, I was just like, my friends watch it and I'm just like, maybe I should get into it. And sometimes I think like, oh, if I needed a show to watch, maybe that's it. And then I never do. Yeah.
No. Just listen to our podcast.
Yeah. We cover the whole show.
And the other content too, the ancillary stuff. Glee Project. We're gonna possibly watch the Glee live concert movie.
In the
yeah, that's a
Cordova
thing.
Street concert.
Yeah.
Yes. And
we're probably gonna
gotta
review
listen for
Leah
next
Michelle's
episode.
album.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of other stuff to keep the podcast.
I want to
going.
hear the next episode to know what you guys want Alyssa to like freak out over.
I hope if it's not
I'm
next
curious.
episode, then it's got to be the one after. Because like what episode is this? 11. Like they're halfway done with the season. So
I'm so curious. Like, I'm probably gonna watch it and not react at all.
yeah,
and they're gonna
"Oh,
be like,
yeah,
what
was
about
the
that
thing?"
one moment?
I'm gonna be so disappointing.
Yeah, and then I'd be like, oh damn. Or maybe I'll just like pretend that wasn't it and just keep holding out
Until I have a good reaction to something.
And then you're
yeah,
like,
and you're like,
that
that
was
was
it.
it. Totally. And you're like, I thought it had to do with like Blaine and Tina. Oh yeah. They were there.
They were adjacent.
So yeah.
All right. Tune in next week for an episode called Naked.
Oh, I remember what this is about.
Oh.
Yep.
Yay!
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.